In the sun-drenched landscapes of Rajasthan, India, where ancient temples stand as silent witnesses to the passage of time, lives a bustling community of Langur monkeys. These graceful primates, with their distinct black faces and long, elegant tails, form intricate social societies. They navigate their world through a complex web of relationships, hierarchies, and communications that have been honed over countless generations. Life for this particular troop seemed to be following its usual rhythm of foraging, playing, and grooming, completely unaware that they were about to become part of a remarkable observation, one that would offer an unprecedented window into their hidden emotional lives. They moved with a familiar grace, their days dictated by the sun and the search for food, their interactions a lively display of primate society. Into this established world, a new and unusual individual was introduced. It was small, perfectly formed, and looked exactly like a Langur infant. Its large, dark eyes were designed to be lifelike, and its soft grey fur mimicked the real thing with astonishing accuracy. However, this was no ordinary baby monkey. It was a sophisticated piece of technology, a robotic spy created for a unique purpose, to film the monkeys from within their own society, capturing moments of intimacy and behavior that would be impossible for a human camera crew to witness. The spy monkey was carefully placed amongst the troop, its creators hoping it would be accepted as one of their own, allowing it to become an invisible observer in their midst. The initial reaction from the troop was one of cautious curiosity. The monkeys approached the small, still figure slowly, their intelligent eyes examining it from every angle. They sniffed it gently, their noses twitching as they tried to place this new scent. The robot was programmed to make subtle, lifelike movements. A blink of the eyes, a slight turn of the head, which proved to be the key to its acceptance. Seeing these familiar gestures, the monkey's initial apprehension began to melt away. They seemed to conclude that this was indeed a young, perhaps lost, member of their species. Soon they went about their business, allowing the little spy to become a quiet, unassuming part of their daily lives. This acceptance was a crucial first step in a truly extraordinary experiment. The little robot, with a camera hidden behind its glassy eyes, was now in a position to record the world from a monkey's perspective. It sat amongst them as they groomed each other, a fundamental social bonding activity. It watched as the young ones chased each other through the temple ruins, their playful antics a joy to behold. The spy offered a unique chance to document the subtle nuances of their communication, the soft calls, the body language, the fleeting glances that form the very fabric of their social world. The successful integration of the robotic imposter set the stage for a series of events that would be both heartwarming and profoundly moving. As the robotic baby became a fixture within the troop, something wonderful began to happen. The monkeys treated it not just as an object to be tolerated, but as a genuine infant deserving of care. The young juveniles would playfully approach it, chattering softly as if trying to entice it into a game of chase. The adults would sit near it, occasionally reaching out a gentle hand to touch its fur, their actions displaying a sense of communal responsibility. This level of acceptance went beyond mere curiosity. It was a sign that the spy had successfully crossed a significant social barrier. It was no longer an outsider, but was being woven into the very social fabric of the monkey family, a silent testament to its convincing design. One female in particular seemed drawn to the little robot. Perhaps she was a mother who had recently lost her own young, or maybe her maternal instincts were simply stronger than the others. She began to treat the spy monkey as her own, a behavior known as allomothering or babysitting, which is common among Langurs. She would carefully scoop up the little figure, cradling it in her arms, just as she would a living infant. This act of adoption was a powerful display of the monkey's capacity for nurturing behavior. She held the robot close, protecting it from the boisterous play of the younger monkeys and keeping a watchful eye on it at all times. The bond between the female Langur and the robotic baby deepened with each passing hour. She groomed its synthetic fur with the same delicate precision she would use on a real infant, using her fingers and teeth to part the hairs and clean them. This grooming is not just about hygiene, it is a fundamental act of social bonding, a way of showing affection and reinforcing social ties within the group. For the researchers watching from a distance, this was an incredible sight. The robot, a mere collection of wires and circuits, was receiving the same tender care and affection that a mother would bestow upon her own flesh and blood, a truly touching display of primate compassion. The babysitting continued, and the female monkey became its dedicated guardian. She carried it with her as she moved through the branches, always ensuring it was secure. Her behavior was a clear signal to the rest of the troop that this infant was under her protection. This moment provided an unparalleled view into the nurturing side of these animals. It demonstrated that the instinct to care for the young is so powerful that it can be triggered even by a convincing replica. The quiet, observant spy was not just filming the monkeys, it was actively participating in their social world, eliciting behaviors that revealed the depth of their capacity for care and affection. The day proceeded as many others had, with the troop moving through the trees in search of food and comfortable resting spots. The surrogate mother carried her robotic charge with the utmost care, navigating the branches with an expert's agility. She paused on a high limb, adjusting her grip on the little spy monkey. It was in this fleeting, unguarded moment that the unthinkable happened. A slight miscalculation, a moment of imbalance, and the small robot slipped from her grasp. It tumbled through the air, its lifeless form offering no resistance as it fell, landing with a soft, final thud on the hard-packed earth below. The fall was accidental, a simple mishap, but its consequences would be profound. On the ground, the spy monkey lay completely still. The impact had caused its internal mechanisms to shut down. Its eyes, which had once blinked with engineered life, were now fixed and vacant. Its head no longer turned, and its body was limp and unresponsive. To the monkeys watching from the branches above, the change was immediate and alarming. The little infant that had been so lifelike just moments before was now utterly motionless. The surrogate mother scrambled down the tree, her movements filled with a frantic urgency. She rushed to the side of the fallen baby, hoping to see a sign of life, a twitch, a breath, anything to suggest it was merely stunned. But there was nothing. The robot was, for all intents and purposes, dead. The mother monkey gently nudged the still form with her hand, then with her nose, trying to elicit a response. Her soft calls became more distressed as she realized her efforts were in vain. The illusion had been shattered, not because the monkeys had discovered the deception, but because they had accepted it so completely. In their eyes, a real tragedy had just occurred. A young, helpless member of their troop had suffered a fatal fall, and the playful world of the colony was suddenly plunged into a state of shock and sorrow. The stillness of the robot was a stark and powerful signal to the entire community. One by one, the other monkeys began to descend from the trees, drawn by the surrogate mother's distress calls and the sight of the motionless infant on the ground. They gathered around the small body, their usual boisterous energy replaced by a heavy, palpable silence. The air, once filled with the sounds of chattering and play, now carried a different tone, one of quiet concern and shared gravity. The accident had transformed a simple day into a moment of collective crisis, setting the stage for one of the most remarkable displays of animal emotion ever witnessed. As the troop gathered around the motionless spy monkey, a profound quiet fell over the group. The atmosphere was thick with a shared sense of loss. They stood in a circle, their dark faces etched with what could only be described as solemnity, gazing down at the infant they believed had just perished. This was no longer an object of curiosity, it was the focal point of a communal tragedy. The surrogate mother was the most distraught, letting out soft cries of grief as she continued to gently touch the lifeless form. The other monkeys did not try to distract her or move on, instead they stayed with her, sharing in her moment of sorrow in a way that felt deeply familiar and profoundly moving. In this moment of shared grief, the monkeys began to do something extraordinary. They turned to one another for comfort. One by one, they started to embrace, wrapping their arms around each other in hugs that mirrored human consolation. A male monkey gently put his arm around the grieving mother, holding her close as if to say, "I'm here with you." Other members of the troop followed suit, huddling together in small groups, their physical closeness a clear expression of social support. This was not a chaotic panic, but a coordinated, empathetic response to the distress of one of their own. They were mourning together as a family. This collective display of empathy provides a rare and precious insight into the emotional lives of primates. While we have long known that monkeys form strong social bonds, witnessing such an explicit and widespread demonstration of consolation in the wild is incredibly rare. The hugs and gentle touches were not random acts. They were targeted expressions of comfort, directed at those who were most upset. It showed that these animals are not just driven by instinct, but are capable of recognizing and responding to the emotional states of others. They possess a capacity for empathy, a fundamental trait that we often consider to be uniquely human. The story of the Langur monkeys and their lost robotic baby is therefore more than just a clever experiment. It is a powerful reminder of our connection to the animal kingdom. It challenges us to look at other species with greater respect and understanding, recognizing that their inner worlds may be far richer and more complex than we ever imagined. The sight of these monkeys consoling each other in their moment of perceived loss is an unforgettable lesson in compassion. It reveals that the roots of empathy, grief, and love run deep in the tree of life, connecting us all in a shared experience of what it means to care for one another.